Let's move now to the money desk. Devan Murugan joins us. Hello, Devan. So now we're talking about this two-part retirement system where you can access a little bit of your retirement funds if you find yourself in a tight financial fix. Treasury wants it to start from March next year. Quite a few people are concerned the industry is just not going to be ready.
No, it's not. And you can imagine that already over the past few months, we've heard this urgency, this desperation from cash-strapped consumers that they need access to this money. But as you say, the warning coming from the Association for Savings and Investments saying the retirement industry might just not be ready for that deadline. So the proposed two-pot system, just some background, will see 2/3 of contributions to funds going into a retirement pot and 1/3 into a savings pot. Now, it's that savings pot that members will be able to access for one withdrawal a year. As we said, that's set to happen, according to Treasury, by March next year. Rosemary Lightbody is a senior policy advisor at the Association for Savings and Investments. She joins us now. Rosemary, thanks indeed for your time. You briefed Parliament this week and you say it's unlikely that the retirement industry will be ready to go ahead with this by March. Why is that?
Evening, Devan. Well, 1 March is not that far away.
Yep.
To start with. And there's an enormous amount that has to happen before our members who are retirement fund administrators are going to be in a position to implement. Now, from the outset, I would just like to convey to your viewers how very supportive Asisa members are of the two-pot system. They really believe that this is going to make a fundamental difference to members of retirement funds and are very, very positive about it and supportive of it. This is why they are very anxious that implementation should go well. And for implementation to go well, everybody has to be properly prepared. What has to happen before implementation is, first of all, the legislation has to be gazetted. It has to be finalized. There has to be no uncertainty about anything in it. And it's not only the income tax legislation, which was before Parliament this week, it's also pension fund amendments have to be made to dovetail with all of that. And the drafts of any pension fund amendments are not out yet. So they have not yet seen the light of day, but they have to happen for the two-pot system to come into being. After all of that legislation is finalized and published and known, retirement fund boards, the trustees, will have to have meetings. They'll have to decide on exactly how implementation is going to happen for their particular fund, because there are certain variables that they may have to make decisions about. Once that's done, rule amendments will have to be drafted. These amendments will have to be approved by the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. Systems and processes will have to be built. And system specs will be absolutely vital. You don't want to get this wrong. You have to test those systems. Other things like reports, member statements, savings withdrawal forms, online member tools, all sorts of things have to be developed and finalized. And very, very importantly, staff and intermediaries, the advisors who go out to advise pension fund members, need to be fully trained and they need to be fully conversant with what the implications of these changes are and what various decisions, the outcome will be if certain decisions are taken by members. So
if I can come in there, Rosemary, I beg your pardon, if I could just interject. So, yeah, it looks like a lot of issues have to be built around this for the system to actually be, foolproof and work accordingly. Looking and taking that into consideration, when do you think it would be possible to have all of this thing done? I mean, I heard you mention in one of your presentations to Parliament that it could be months after that proposed date or that target date that Treasury has set, March next year. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Our members have said that they're going to need to get everything in place. They're going to need from the date that the final legislation is absolutely certain, they're going to need at least 18 months to be ready.
And that's a very long time. It's quite extraordinary when you look at it, because how many people are waiting for this system to kick in? Many consumers are cash-strapped. They need the money. We've seen Casato on the one hand saying they want immediate access to this. So I guess you would have to actually just wait for this, because many people are still unsure about the eligible amount that will be needed to withdraw and what the conditions are around that.
Yes, well, this is the thing. The legislation is not finalised. The final legislation that comes out will probably look different in a few respects from what you're seeing now. There are also quite a few drafting issues from a technical point of view, technical things that have to be sorted out that are not resolved in the legislation. Just for example, I don't want to get all technical, but defined benefit funds like the Government Employees Pension Fund, they work differently from defined contribution funds. Those, how that is going to be dealt with is not set out, and that is going to have to be drafted into the bill. So it's not as if, with the best will in the world, this cannot be done until there's certainty. And, you know, even SARS have got to get their systems ready. SARS can't start building their systems until they know exactly what the law is going to look like.
All right, so there's going to have to be a bit of a wait for many of those that might want to dip in. Well, we'll see what Treasury has to say. Rosemary Lightbody, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. It's a senior economic advisor there at Asisa.